Hello, true believers. Time to do another Police Gone Wild video, and this is another police misencounter. Remember, I think back in February, we just had a police encounter, and of course, nothing, as you can see, nothing resulted from that. The investigation, months and months later, there's still no results. And we could probably dive into the reasons why. And of course, anything that is not properly addressed is going to repeat and happen again, which we could probably dive into what and why based on my own personal experiences. But let's get to what actually happened. So this actually happened last Friday. It's already, I think, what, Wednesday today. So for some reason I didn't see this in my news feeds, or I wasn't paying attention, but I caught it now. So back in February, I did a video on the Philippine National Police, and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency misencounter, where one police officer from each division died, and one drug asset died also. So correct me if I'm wrong, there must have been like 4 people died from that incident. And of course, since nothing happened with that incident or investigation, lo and behold, here is another one. So let's go to the video.
Muntik nang magka-engkwentro ang Quezon City Police District at PDEA na nagkasabay ng anti-drug operation sa iisang lugar.
Nagkaroon pa ng pagtatalo kung sino ang nagkamali.
So we have another drug operation by both groups in the same place is what they're saying. So here we go. They're saying here they even had a argument. So the guy sitting down is trying to say something, but the guy standing up is interrupting and is saying, "Oh, I'm wrong. I'm the one who's wrong," is what he's saying. Mali ako means I'm wrong. Are you saying I'm wrong? And he says, "No, I'm not saying anything." And the other person responds, you just shut up and be quiet," is what this discussion is, or this argument is. And he said, after he said, "Why don't you just be quiet?" And he says, "No, we're the same," like saying we're the same police, or we're the same rank, or we're in this for the same reasons. And he has a valid point.
Nakaupo at nakatali ang kamay sa likod ng mga pulis habang pinalilibutan sila ng mga tauhan ng PDEA.
So at this time, it was the Philippine National Police that is sitting down, and it was disarmed. And look at all their weapons. And this is a lot of weapons. This is a lot of ammunition, and these are very expensive. So let's continue.
Pinapagsasahig ang mga armas.
So these people are ready to go to war, and we'll talk about over what. Look at that. These are weapons you take when you're to go into battle, and you've got like the bulletproof vests. Look at that, shotgun, automatic assault weapons. So this is heavy. This is a heavy weapons.
Na mga pulis, nagpakilala naman agad ang mga pulis kaya naabata ng posibleng engkwentro.
Kinumpirma ng QCPD Station 4 na lehitimo ang parehong operasyon sa parking lot ng isang mall sa Quezon City. Wala pang pahayag ang PDEA. Nito lang Pebrero, nagka-misencounter ang mga pulis at PDEA malapit sa isang mall sa Commonwealth Avenue.
So this encounter happened in a mall in Quezon City again, just like it happened in a food court or a food plaza in Quezon City. So it happened in Quezon City again.
Namatay noon ang 2 pulis, isang PDEA agent at isang informant.
So they said that 2 police officers died from the last February misencounter, and 2 drug assets. So let's take a look at another video, see if it's, I'm gonna see if I can find a longer one for you. Oops. Here's one for 2 minutes.
Namang magkaengkwentro ang mga tauhan ng PDEA at QCPD sa operasyon sa Fairview, Quezon City. Narito po ang aking unang balita.
So this is just a reminder that there was a misencounter back in February. So this is same thing again, but there was no shootout this time. There was nobody that got killed this time compared to the last incident in February.
Ang bangungot na ito kung saan kapwa mga alagad pa ng batas ang nagkaengkwentro sa sinasabi nilang parehong lehitimong operasyon kontra iligal na droga, muntik na namang maulit alas 3 ng hapon itong Biyernes.
So they're saying that just like in February, there was a Philippines National Police and Philippines Drug Enforcement Agency encounter in February. Almost another one happened last Friday at 3 o'clock in a mall parking lot.
Nang magkaharap ang mga tauhan ng QCPD Station 4 at mga ahente ng PDEA sa parking lot ng isang mall sa Fairview, Quezon City. Gaya noon, pareho rin daw lehitimo ang operasyon nila ngayon.
They're saying back in February, they're saying both of our operations are legitimate. Somebody here is lying.
Parang bypass operation pero nagkapanag po doon.
And of course, we got to come in with the excuses why this happened again. So it will probably happen a third time again, but let's continue what he has to say.
Meron kasi iba-ibang layer ng mga operation. Kaya nagkataon lang na hindi pa nakukonsummate yung isa na mag-start pa lang, nagkapanag po na doon. Ang naging issue lang kasi doon is parehong armed groups, PNP and PDEA, na nagpanag po doon at muntik nang magkaputukan.
Sa naturang insidente, pinadapa umano ang mga pulis mula sa QCPD Station 4. Buti na lang daw ay nakapagpakilala ang mga ito sa mga tauhan pala ng PDEA Calabarzon, kaya't di na humantong sa sagupaan at naiwasang magkabarilan. Ayon kay PNP Chief Eliazar,
So they're saying that the reason why this one didn't end up in a shootout is because they identified themselves. But they also identified themselves in the February misencounter. But this time there was no shootout, even though they were prepared to do a shootout.
mukhang parehong grupo ang kanilang tinutuntun.
Problema talaga bottom line is, bakit kayo nagpanag po dyan? Akala ba namin merong coordination?
Sabi ni Eliazar na nanatiling hamon daw
So he's asking, why is it that these two are going after the same operation even? Let's continue.
sa dalawang ahensya ang ganitong mga insidente.
Maglalagay kami ng unified operational guideline so that hindi na mauulit. Paano ba na mangyayari yan? Ang iiwasan lang namin is for the operatives of the PNP and operatives of the PDEA to operate on one place on one particular time.
Ayon sa PDEA, kapwa maglalabas ng pahayag sina PDEA Director General Wilkins Villanueva at PNP Chief Police General Guillermo Eliazar, oras na maisapinal na raw nila ang mga revisions sa uniform protocols for coordination and interoperability among drug law enforcement agencies na kanilang ginagawa ngayon.
Ito talaga yung nagmulat sa atin na talagang bakit ba nangyari yan? Buti na lang walang namatay. We will do
So he's asking, why did that happen? But the good thing is that nobody died.
our best. Through these guidelines, through this effective supervision, para hindi na mangyari yan.
Ano nga natin makuha yung tao ko?
Okay. So where do we stand over here with this? Or why? And so let's the misencounter. Let me get a shot of the police over here and the PDEA. So the question has to be asked is why? Okay, and we all know the simple answer is here. Why this happened, and we could all chant together and 3, 2, 1, money. If you one of the comments, if you look through the comments on this thing, is you'll see pera, 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 and pera in English means money. These people are after money because drugs, it's a huge business. It's a big payday. It's a big payoff. Anytime you say drugs, all those guns that you see, all that ammunition that you see, bulletproof vests, those things cost not only thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. And where is it not going to come from? It's going to come from drug money, of course. And just like the ninja cops that would take the money and recycle the money, or the drug take the money and take the drugs, just like recycle the drugs. Same thing over here. So these things are going to continue to happen. So imagine these are the ones that are just being reported on the news. Imagine how many times these things that happen without getting reported. How many times does the police do a buy bust or a drug bust operation and not report the entire assets that they seized, including drug money or the drugs themselves? Just like in that incident in Pampanga, where they got like $10 million worth of drugs, and or 10 million, some ridiculous amount of money, and they got both money and drugs, and only reported or submitted or inventoried only half the money and half the drugs. And what else are they going to do with half the drugs? Of course, they're going to consume it. Some of it they're going to consume on their own for their personal use, and some of it they're going to sell. And you're going to say, oh, that's where are you making those kind of statements? Oh, what would the reason why else wouldn't you surrender all the drugs if you're not going to use it yourself or sell it yourself? Those are the only two things you do with drugs. If that was the case, that they weren't planning on doing anything with it, then why submit the whole thing? Because of money. Okay, as you could see, what I've already gone over and over again, what the police are willing to do. And they do it. This is not the only thing that they do. The police are also known for, as you could see, kidnap for ransom. They also do hired guns. They murder people for political reasons and for money. That's plain and simple. What it all comes down to: money, money, money. When I was in prison, I asked the people in there why they're involved in drugs. Well, number one, it's the addiction. Number two, it's easy money. Imagine you can take $10,000. I mean, 10,000. Let's say 10,000 pesos, which is like $250. Let's just say $200, and then in less than an hour, double it to $400. So $200 instantly. And where are you gonna? It's just the lure of easy, fast, a lot of money. Of course, high risk, high reward. So when you're talking about a society that doesn't think about the consequences of they're just thinking about the now, then you're gonna have more and more of these things happening, and all you're gonna do is make up excuses. And then all they have to do is do some kind of cover up, and then they're gonna do it again. Because of why? Because of money. These people want SUVs, they want cell phones. See their fancy cell phones. Those are gonna be paid off through these kind of illegal activities, through these kind of criminal activities. To you and I, from a Western point of view, they're illegal criminal activities, but for them, it's their way of hanap buhay. It's there for their way of living. And I wanted to end this video because there was some discussion going on with my recent video, especially about why I'm reporting this, or why I'm even discussing it. Because one person, he's one of the recent comments. We were asking him. It sounded like he knows about the Philippines. We were asking, so we asked him the question, what would he do with the police in this kind of situation? And he said, and I probably should do a separate video on it. And the reason why, and he said he wouldn't do anything. He would just kind of lay low and live privately, especially after all that happened. And there's a big problem with that, because I made this reference before when it comes to the police over here. The police is the new organized crime over here. The police are the Gestapo. The police are the modern kind of Nazi. They can do whatever the hell they want without impunity. And when it comes to this kind of authoritarian impunity, I always think about Martin Niemöller's this German, his quote. And he was talking about the Nazis and the Gestapos, and obviously there's no more Nazis now, but the idea or the movement or the methods of the Nazis are alive and well, especially here in the Philippines, when you've got people over here doing criminal activities with no impunity, with no recourse whatsoever. I mean, if the police commit the crime, who are you going to report the police to? The police themselves. And why I'm making videos about what happened to me and what is happening to other people is because of this reason, and because of this quote. And I'll leave it off of that. I'll probably do a more in-depth video about it. And because the police are now as you can see, you could be an innocent person. You cannot be. You don't have to be a socialist. You don't have to be a unionist. You don't have to be a Jew. And just as long as you have money, and for you, if you have money, then this is something you have to be concerned about. And I make these videos so because of this reason. And the quotation goes like this: first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So this is the kind of situation where you can hide, you can just be lying in your beds, and all those years from now, thinking from here to then, dying in your beds, thinking, what is that Braveheart quote? Anyway, I forgot. I was trying to make a reference to that, but I screwed it up. But I'm sure you guys could look it up. Yes, you will live, you will die, you will go quietly, but there's going to be a time where you're going to say that you should have stood up. You should have stood up for something you believe in. And this is what I've always been that's always been my personality, that I can't just look around and see the kind of injustice going around here and sit by and do nothing. And I have to do something. Whatever that is, it's up to you. What it is, what you can tolerate, what you can handle. But that person making the person who made a comment, and I wish I could make comment again, is to say to lay my head low and be quiet and live my life privately and do nothing is not an option. Because eventually, if you live here in the Philippines, there's going to be a time when they're going to come for you, and there was no one left to speak out. There's no one left here to speak for you. So same thing that's going on here with the police. As you could see, that they're even their own kind, their own police, they're almost ready to shoot. And why? Because over money. And if you're going to be coming over here, it's safe to assume that you have money, that they're going to be doing the same thing to you also. If they're willing to do that to each other because of money, then they're willing to do that to you over money, just like they did to me. And it's one thing that of course, for this person, nothing has happened to them, for them to be quiet, but it's not, but after it happened to them, it's hard for me to be quiet. Like I said, I've started Rebels only because of the injustice that I see. I see such a waste, and doing nothing was just not an option. But anyway, let me know what you think of this video. What do you think about this misencounter? Why do you think it happened? Of course, their excuse is going to be a miscommunication. And yes, that is a good excuse. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that these people, the police especially from my experience, that their main motive and reason is money. So drugs, it means it's a lot of money. So that's a easy, safe way. But it's getting to a point where there's not enough drug money to support all this police. As you can see, it's getting to a point where there's more and more. Before, maybe there's just a small group of police that are making a lot of money from drugs. But eventually that's going to grow because money attracts more corrupt police. Eventually it's getting to the point, as you can see, a saturation, that there's more police interested in making drug money or spending drug money or illegally seizing drug money than there is drug money, and they're starting to go after each other. It's missed that saturation point. The dangerous part comes in is where do you come in? And the problem is, just like with me, because of money, because as you can see with my credit, it's always here, it's my credit cards. As you can see, let's take a look at what they're going to do if they do have the money. As you can see, they're going to go to Walter Mart, Mercury Drug, South Supermarket, Shell Station, Rob's Appliances, Pizza Hut, because they got to eat. So that's what they're going to do with the stolen money. They're going to go to Sarabia Optical. They're going to go to Vivo. They're going to go to Everest Mall and Rico and spend $3,000. Not 3,000 pesos, $3,000 on food. And here we go, Gold, Green, Tab Premium. That's like a gadget place, I think. And of course, Shell. So that's what they would do with the money, as you could see, with my credit cards. So if they can do that to me, and then they can do that to you. If they can do that to an innocent person, it's like, oh, okay, well, that was only, you're not an innocent person. Who is innocent? We're all who has not he who has not sinned cast the first stone. I'm innocent enough that the judges say that I'm innocent until proven guilty. In the meantime, that's not important. What is important is if you have money, if you have credit cards. So like I said, I made provisions already that there's no way online that they, and then yes, of course I use online accounts, but those accounts are already emptied anyway. So if they do this again, that there's no way, I learned my lesson the first time and I was complacent the first time. And I'm passing on this information to you so it doesn't happen to you again. So I'm speaking out now. So when they come for you, I was the one there that helped you and stopped them from doing this to you. Anyway, let me know what you think. This is Bevels Only. Thanks for watching.